Amy Slaton's new beginning, kindergarten, Kleenex, and the sweet taste of triumph. The Kentucky dawn painted the Slaton Halterman's kitchen in soft peach and lavender hues, a stark contrast to the emotional hurricane brewing inside. Amy Slaton, perched precariously on a stool that groaned only slightly under her significantly reduced frame, meticulously smoothed a stubborn cowlick on her son Gage's head. The 5-year-old squirmed, clutching a dinosaur backpack almost as big as he was, his eyes wide with a potent cocktail of excitement and apprehension. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hold still, sugar plum, Amy murmured, her voice thick with unshed tears. She fiercely blinked back. Mama's gotta make you look handsome for your big day. This wasn't just any big day. Today was Gage's first day of kindergarten. For any parent, it's a milestone, a poignant letting go, a tiny hand released into the wider world. For Amy Slaton, it felt monumental. It was the summit of a mountain she'd spent the last grueling, heartbreaking, and transformative year scaling. Her tough year wasn't just looking up, it was exploding in a supernova of pride, relief, and hard-won joy. Flashback, the weight of the world. Rewind 12 months. The air in Amy's world felt thick, suffocating, saturated with the residue of public scrutiny, private heartbreak, and the relentless pull of old habits. Her divorce from Michael Halterman played out under the unforgiving glare of TLC cameras for 1,000 LB SISTRs had left deep scars. The custody arrangements, the co-parenting logistics, the sheer emotional exhaustion of dismantling a life she'd built, it was a crushing weight far heavier than the pounds she'd famously shed. The scale, once a symbol of triumph, became a source of dread again. Stress eating, a lifelong coping mechanism honed in childhood, reared its ugly head. Numbers crept upwards. The whispers started, online trolls, tabloid speculation, even concerned whispers from fans. Is Amy gaining it all back? Has she given up? The narrative stung, feeding into her own spiraling doubts. The vibrant, determined woman who had danced with joy after weight loss surgery seemed dimmed, burdened. The pressures of single motherhood, financial worries, managing her own health alongside her complex relationship with her sister Tammy, and the constant public eye felt like an avalanche. There were days she felt like she was drowning. Days where getting Gage and Glenn to daycare felt like running a marathon. Days where the exhaustion was bone deep, and the temptation to retreat into the comfort of food was overwhelming. The vibrant personality fans loved was buried under layers of fatigue and anxiety. Her tough year wasn't an exaggeration, it was a daily battle fought on multiple fronts, often feeling like she was losing ground. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The turning point. Little Eyes watching. The catalyst wasn't a dramatic intervention or a scolding from Dr. Proctor. It was quieter, more profound. It was watching Gage struggle to keep up with other kids at the park, his little face flushed with effort. It was Glenn toddling towards her, arms outstretched, and feeling a pang of fear that her knees might buckle. It was seeing the concern flicker in Tammy's eyes, not judgment, but a shared understanding of the struggle. Most of all, it was the dawning realization reflected in her son's innocent eyes. They needed her. Not just present, but capable. Active. Alive. I looked at Gage, Amy confessed later in a rare, vulnerable moment filmed for the upcoming season, her voice catching, and I thought, he deserves a mama who can run with him. Who can get down on the floor and play dinosaurs without needing a crane to get back up. Glenn deserves to have his mama see him grow up, graduate, get married, all of it. I ain't gonna miss that. I can't. That fierce maternal love, the same force that had driven her initial weight loss journey, reignited. It wasn't about the cameras or the fame or even proving the trolls wrong. It was about Gage and Glenn. Pure and simple. She recommitted. Therapy sessions became more focused, tackling the emotional roots of her eating. She leaned harder on her support system, her ever-present mama, Chris Combs, her complicated but fiercely loyal sister Tammy, whose own remarkable journey served as both inspiration and solidarity, and her close friends. Meal prep became sacred time again. Movement, even when it was just chasing toddlers around the house, became intentional exercise. The climb back wasn't linear. There were setbacks, tears, days where the old cravings won. But the why was different now. Stronger. It wasn't vanity, it was survival, hers and the vibrant futures she dreamed of for her boys. Slowly, steadily, the scale began to trend downwards again. More importantly, her energy returned. Her laughter, that infectious, unfiltered cackle that endeared her to millions, became a more frequent soundtrack in the Slaton Halterman's home. The spark was returning. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Present day, backpacks, and bittersweet tears. And now here she was. The morning sun streamed through the window, illuminating the scene, Gage, looking impossibly small and grown up all at once in his new clothes, backpack dwarfing his frame. Glenn, blissfully unaware of the significance, but sensing the excitement, babbled happily in his high chair, smearing banana on his face. Amy, clad in bright pink leggings and a flowy top, a far cry from the restrictive garments of her heaviest days, took a shaky breath. "Okay, big man," she said, her voice thick but steady. "You got your snack? Your juice box? Dinosaur for show and tell." Gage nodded solemnly, patting his backpack. "Tammy, who had insisted on being there, you think I'm missin' my nephew's first day?" "Get real," maneuvered her wheelchair into the kitchen. "Look at you, Gagey," she boomed, a wide smile stretching across her face. "Ready to conquer kindergarten? Show 'em who's boss, just like your mama." She winked at Amy, a silent message of shared understanding and pride passing between them. The drive to the elementary school was a symphony of nervous chatter from Gage and Amy's attempts to keep her own nerves in check. She pointed out familiar landmarks, reminding him where she'd pick him up. Her knuckles were white on the steering wheel, not from the physical effort of driving, but from the emotional effort of letting go. Arriving at the school was a kaleidoscope of noise and color. Kids clung to parents, teachers with bright smiles herded little groups, backpacks bobbed like colorful buoys in a sea of tiny humans. Amy parked, took another deep breath that felt like it reached her toes, and helped Gage out of the car. Tammy followed in her wheelchair, a determined look on her face. Hand in hand, Amy holding Gage, Tammy resting a hand on Amy's arm for support, they navigated the bustling sidewalk towards Gage's classroom door. Amy's heart hammered against her ribs. She saw other parents, some looking confident, others as teary-eyed as she felt. She saw Gage's eyes widen, taking it all in. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. At the classroom threshold, his teacher, a kind-faced woman with a name tag reading Ms. Henderson, knelt down. "Hi there. You must be Gage. We've been waiting for you. Come on in, we've got dinosaurs waiting." Gage looked up at Amy, his small hand tightening in hers. For a split second, the fear was back, the fear that had plagued her during her darkest days, the fear of not being enough, of failing him. But then she looked into his eyes, her eyes, Michael's eyes, but uniquely Gage, and saw not fear, but anticipation. He gave her hand a final squeeze, then let go, stepping towards Miss Henderson and the brightly decorated classroom. That was the moment the dam broke. Tears Amy had been valiantly holding back spilled over, tracing warm paths down her cheeks. She wasn't sad. Not really. It was a tidal wave of overwhelming emotion, pride so fierce it felt like a physical force, relief that she was here, present, capable of experiencing this moment, and a profound, almost painful gratitude for the journey that brought her to this doorstep. She watched Gage disappear into the classroom, his little backpack bobbing, and a sob escaped her. Tammy, ever the unexpected rock, reached up and squeezed Amy's hand tightly. "He's gonna be fine, Ames," she said, her own voice suspiciously thick. "Look at him. He's brave. Just like his mama." Amy nodded, unable to speak, pulling a wad of tissues from her purse, packed specifically for this moment. She dabbed at her eyes, smearing mascara, not caring one bit. She peered through the classroom window, catching a glimpse of Gage finding his cubby, his initial shyness giving way to curiosity as he looked around. A shaky smile broke through her tears. More than just a first day, a testament to resilience. Walking back to the car, Leaning on Tammy's wheelchair for support that was more emotional than physical now, Amy felt lighter than she had in months. Years, maybe. The weight of the past year, the heartbreak, the setbacks, the fear, hadn't vanished, but it had been transformed. It was no longer an anchor, it was the foundation upon which this moment stood. This milestone, Gage starting kindergarten, was about him, yes. But it was also a monumental, deeply personal victory lap for Amy Slaton. It was proof positive that she hadn't just survived her toughest year, she was navigating it, learning from it, and emerging stronger on the other side. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. She was there. Physically present, not sidelined by health limitations. She was emotionally present, not numbed by depression or anxiety. She was actively participating in her son's life in a way her former self could only have dreamed of. She had fought her demons, faced her setbacks publicly and privately, and clawed her way back to a place of strength and commitment. Celebrating this milestone wasn't about throwing a lavish party, though knowing Amy, a celebratory dinner with extra pickles was likely planned. It was about the quiet, powerful resonance of the moment. It was the taste of her own tears, salty, bittersweet, but ultimately cleansing. It was the sight of her son stepping bravely into his future, a future she had fought tooth and nail to ensure she'd be part of. It was the solid, unwavering presence of her sister beside her, a testament to their shared, hard-fought resilience. As she buckled Glenn back into his car seat, his chubby hand patting her wet cheek, Amy looked back at the school. The noise, the chaos, the symbol of her son's independence. Her tough year wasn't just looking up. It had delivered her here, to this ordinary, extraordinary moment. She had faced the abyss, stumbled, but ultimately held onto the light of her son's futures. Driving away, Tammy humming softly beside her and Glenn babbling in the back, Amy Slaton allowed herself a real, unguarded smile. It wasn't just Gage starting a new chapter. She was too. The page had turned, heavy with the ink of struggle, but the next chapter? It was wide open, filled with the boundless, beautiful possibilities born from relentless love and sheer, stubborn grit. Kindergarten was just the beginning. For Gage and for the mama who moved mountains to walk him to its door. The celebration wasn't in balloons or cake. It was etched in every step she took away from that school, lighter, prouder, and fiercely, triumphantly alive. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.